think the challenge is that it's quite new, the MMA in this region. There's a lot of fighters, there's a lot of grassroots, a lot of gyms that are doing MMA, but the number of events that have happened in the Middle East is quite small. There's not a lot of events that have happened over the past decade or 10 years, and PFL MENA brings a new competition, a new challenge, and finding the right fighters, attracting the right talents, and also developing the MMA ecosystem, not just in Saudi, but really all across the region, in the MENA region. This is what we're trying to solve as an organization. In terms of identifying the talents, I think it kind of goes hand in hand. PFL MENA and the PFL leagues in general are a perfect way to create pathways for champions to potentially one day be world champions. So it's working with amateur fighters, it's working with fighters that are ready to turn pro. It's working with fighters that are pro and have a great career and want to go to the next level. It's really having all those different steps and fighters that are nurturing the ecosystem in MMA. And so you see in Saudi, we have Hatan Al-Saif, for example. She started with us. She had 0 fights in MMA. She's now done 2 fights. We can see there's a lot of people behind her. They love the story. They love the way she fights. She's a great personality, great character, great fighter. But she's only 2-0 as an amateur fighter. So she has a whole career in front of her. And it's the opportunity for the fans to follow her as she continues her journey into MMA. I think if you look at every sports right now, it's all about data. The guest, the consumer that's watching TV or watching the fight live wants to have more information. How fast is this? How big is this? How all the different statistics you can have. And combat sports, generally speaking, don't have too many statistics, and so we're trying to change this and bring those new statistics. How many punches have they thrown? How many kicks have they thrown? How fast were they? How powerful were they? Where were they on the cage in terms of hit zone, hit maps, and continuing to develop the stats that help you as a fan, whether you're an ultimate fan or just a casual viewer, to understand what you're looking at, be better educated about the fighters, and easier also for you to follow the fights. Again, that's a great question. I think we've seen it in combat sport like boxing and MMA, where it's every card is different, and if I'm a fighter, I'm going to fight maybe today, and then I'll have to wait, and I'm not sure, am I going to fight in 6 months, in a year, sometimes in 2 years, and you're not really in control of your career. And same from a fan experience. You've seen your best fighter, the fighter that you support fight. You don't know when he's fighting, who is he fighting next, what's next for them. We bring the traditional sports tournament, like a tennis tournament if you want, where it's a season over 1 year long. We select the fighters that are going to start the season, and then after, if they win, they go to the next level. If they win, they access the semifinal, and then they access the finals, and whoever was the best wins. So from a fan perspective, it's fair. You know who are they fighting. If they win, who are they going to fight? And you can see the progression. It happens over a year, so it's very easy to follow, and it's very easy to get associated with the fighter. But from the fighter perspective, it's fair as well, meaning that I know that if I win, I'm fighting again in 2 months or in 3 months, and I know who I'm going to fight. And if I win every game, every fight, then I'm going to have the belt. And in MENA, you also get a $100,000 check. So if you're the best one, you win. If you lose, you go home. Very simple format, easy to follow. And it's all about meritocracy for the fighter. It's fair. I think it's an essential part at the minute of sports. And you see technology being applied in so many different areas in sports. You see it, in some of the more traditional sports in terms of recovery and managing the athlete, and when they have injuries. All this really, AI is now opening a whole different area, and I think we're just starting to scrap the bottom with technology in MMA. And so we're trying to bridge the gap and see how we can bring more technologies into the whole journey of the athlete, not just when they're fighting, but before and after, and trying to have a bit more maybe predicting the fights and where are they strong, where are they weak, where do they need to work, and especially with their opponent, this is where it starts to get really interesting. Yeah, that's a great question again. I think we are trying to create the Champions League of MMA. So at the bottom you would have the league, the regional league like us, and so that means working a lot with the local federation in Jordan, in Saudi, in the UAE, all across the region, identifying what are the top talents of today, but also of tomorrow, and giving them the platform to perform. So Hatan, for example, Hatan Al-Saif, she's amateur, she's just starting her career, so we're giving her a showcase fight, and we are helping her develop as a fighter and to grow into it. Then we have other fighters like Jarrah, for example, or Abdullah Al-Qatani in Saudi. They are experienced fighters, professional fighters. They want to go to the next level and have a chance to compete at the global stage. And that's why the PFL MENA League is here. Whoever wins the league has a chance to go after the PFL global seasons and to continue their career. And if they do, At the global season, then, it's fighters from all across the world. It's the best of the best that are fighting for the ultimate belt, which is the world belt and $1 million check. So really, you have a whole ladder of steps that we're creating for the fighter to control their career and to make it to the top. And if you apply the league season, as I described earlier, where if you win, you continue, if you lose, you go home. Ultimately, if you win all your fights, then you can be world champion in, say, 2 years.